chill.
Yeah.
And just have a good time. Don't chill on the Rift, but just in your mind. You don't need to worry about it. Emotionally, it's all okay.
But I want to go back to what you were saying about ShiauC, right? Because, like, in the LCP playoffs, one of the big talking points was, why are we not putting this guy on towards more engaged champions, right? He looked decent on the Chanters, but, like, he has always been a big engaged guy. So that's why you can already see KC taking that Nautilus away, just trying to make sure he's a little bit less comfortable in that bottom lane.
Yeah, well, you can actually see these bans coming through thick and fast with the Varus Vi and the Nautilus, and then the Nocturne and Poppy as the response. Kind of interesting that we do still see all of these Varus bans, but I imagine, as far as scrim meta is concerned, he's probably getting some work done. And we did see, I mean, Yon did do a fair bit of damage on that champion, especially in the early stages of our last series in that game number 3, so likely that is a little bit of a look in as to why its priority is still so high. But Canna now with the first pick opportunity, and I love this, getting the opportunity to go back and cast my boys like Canna and kyeahoo, like
it's been a while for
back here in Korea. It has been a really long time, especially for Canna. I feel like he has become European now, but kyeahoo has really embraced it. You can see it in even his haircut, like everything. He's just completely gone away from like the Korean style.
They were like, oh yeah, we're going to make a wolf noise for him now in LEC, and then he just grew a mane.
It's perfect.
But already, Rumble picked up for Canna. This has been his go-to and kind of been the thing that KC have relied to a lot. Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's see whether the lease in from Pop9 is going to be able to make it happen, as that is such an early Camille pick, and it looks like from the order of champions, this is going into the top lane. ShiauC could obviously be playing that one towards the bottom side of the map. Hook champions, Dagda. Guess what? Hook shot is hook.
And he played it as well, and he looked sick on it. So I'm very excited, because one of the things that KC have kind of relied on a lot is like this Ashe Seraphine bot lane. So with that, already kind of taking that opportunity to go for the engage is going to be a nice fight, but yeah, that's a strong top side of the map for KC.
Yeah, I'm very frightened. Obviously, Orianna isn't quite as powerful as she was in previous tournaments that we may have seen, but she is still pretty ridiculous. We saw Faker find that victory in game number 1 in our previous series, so this is certainly something to watch out for. kyeahoo is also just a fantastic control mage player in general, although my favorite is obviously the Dragon. But HongSuo actually going towards the Galio here, and Galio Camille straight out of the gate is a lot of team fighting power. And what do we want to see out of Deep Cross Gaming?
Yeah.
Just send it. And this is a send it combo already.
And the fact that you get to lock someone down so you almost guarantee that kill is going to be very good for them. So a little nervous for KC with what's been drafted. So I am interested to see what they try and take into this bottom side to try and keep Caliste safe. I was just having a quick glance because I don't think Feng actually plays any of these like mage champions in the bottom lane that we've seen a lot with the Camille. So like not the Ziggs or the Mel.
Ziggs
is
goes
kind of what
pretty hard, doesn't it?
Yeah. With this style, hell yeah.
Well, we'll see what they do decide to go with. Like, you just lock Ambessa Ziggs.
Yeah.
That feels like a Humble Life Esports draft, and that would work pretty well. But let's see what they are going to go with here as the Rakan has been taken away. I've seen this one banned out quite a few times so far at MSI, even in only the 3 games that we've had so far. But can definitely get a lot of work done alongside a Rumble.
Yeah, well, that was the thought for me, was like, oh, do you try and go towards like Xayah Rakan in the bottom lane, so then you got a little bit of safety, or do you have a different option here, maybe like the Ezreal that you want to try and go for? So I'm curious what DCG do end up banning away here in these last couple.
The Jhin is going to be taken away. I'm very happy about that. And let's just see what the last ban is going to be after this. Lucian has been taken away. Nope, skating around for Caliste. And one more ban. What does Reaper have for us here to probably deny Feng once again?
Yeah, I'm not certain where they're going to go. But to me, it feels like they just want to have like something that is that good follow-up for the Camille and has a lot of early game damage is kind of where they're going, which is why the Jhin ban is gone. But there's the
Ziggs ban.
Respect. So even though Relove DCG haven't brought it out before, they're still willing to give that respect to it.
Yep. I don't mind it. I was actually kind of hoping that they'd give it a crack just because the Wombo is so ridiculous out of that combination. But, I mean, KC are representing a fair bit of that themselves. One pick to come through here before we get the round out of the KC composition. And there is the Ambessa. I mean, we got half of it. The other half's banned, but 50% ain't bad. We take a coin flip.
I mean, if you're willing to take the Mel, I still think it's pretty damn strong in this situation as well. So.
Yeah. And we've seen the Mel Camille work very, very well. I mean, if my sample size was just today, 100% win rate.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Absolutely nailed it. But, I mean, everywhere, especially in the LCK and the LPL, the Mel Camille has been kind of ridiculous. But what are we going to be playing there towards the bottom side? Caitlyn Bard.
And Busio's Bard has been left open, so may just be going for the comfort. But, I mean, this is what we saw played into earlier today, right? Was that Camille Mel into the Caitlyn Bard. So we'll have to see if that's what Relove DCG just want to try and copy T1 here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to copy anyone's homework, pretty good team to copy, to be honest. And if you sat next to them in class and, you know, they're not covering up their sheet, I mean, what's she going to do? The Ezreal going to be the consideration first, though, here for Feng. And I don't mind it, although not necessarily representing as much safety and sort of team fight wombo combo potential, but still will be able to self-heal quite comfortably. And you will like, the rest of Relove DCG can just kind of do their thing and let Feng be all right.
Yeah, and I think that's basically the game plan, right? This is try and get ShiauC out on the map, try and make a lot of plays, especially with Pop 9 and this Lee Sin. It's a big champion for him. So for Relove DCG, hyper-aggression in the early stages, which is exactly what you want to see. For KC, I kind of like what they brought to the table as well. Like, you've comfort for Khan on the Rumble. The Bard has been a massive pick for Busio, and something he roams quite effectively on, so he can try and help cover some of these early aggressive plays from Relove DCG. So I think both sides kind of happy with what they brought to the table.
Yeah, 100%. I do think that this works out very well for Relove DCG if their game plan actually works.
Yes.
Because if you dominate mid-game teamfights, what does Orianna and Caitlyn ever really do in the game? If you slow them down too much, then they sort of never get off the ground and you can find yourself with a winning avenue. Obviously, we'll just have to see whether that's going to work because, as you say, a little bit of a slow-moving juggernaut is KC. They're not likely to fall that far behind and lose out on their opportunity to hard carry in the later stages of the game. We know Caitlyn gets 4 items, it's kind of over. You have the Orianna with 3, and she is feeling incredibly powerful. Not to mention the teamfight potential of this composition just in general, with Busio on the Bard to set all of the things up. But there is still a chance for an upset as we get onto the Rift here for our second best of 5 of MSI. And Relove DCG, let's see whether they can start us off with a Game 1 upset before we get into the rest of this series, or whether it's just going to be KC doing their best T1 impression from the previous series.
Already, Relove DCG going in for that early ward, because my biggest concern for them is push in mid and push in bot in the early stages, unless you can get some kind of crazy engage here for ShiauC.
Yeah, it could be an avenue.
Yeah, but I think that's where I'd be looking for invades off the back of that, you know? If you're a Yike, I think that's where trying to get involved in Pop 9's jungle is going to be far more interesting.
Well, we'll see where they're going to be going here, as we do have a red start here for Yike towards the top side of the map. Busio already taking a lot of damage here as ShiauC hiding in that brush momentarily. Mystic Shot does go wide, though, and ShiauC losing a lot of his health bar. A little bit of a split as far as where the damage is going, and there's the Ignite onto Caliste. Really nice Cosmic Binding there from Busio just to shut it down, but this is already the kind of biffo that we were hoping for here in this game. Yeah,
still though, you got Caliste who's managed to hold on to that barrier, so may still be able to play up. But ShiauC's done a great job of getting control of this bush, because you can see now KC have to try and play back because they don't have the vision on it.
Well, now they do, as there's an Electrocute proc out of the Bard. Very, very good at utilizing that particular keystone. As Feng will be able to grab himself the push. Level 2 picked up here for KC, but will immediately be followed. And ShiauC just cheating a little bit of a recall here that doesn't actually happen in the end.
Yeah, Pop 9 going for the early reset to pick up the longsword, so wasn't sure if there was going to be some early scrapping towards him potentially, and also just trying to see if he could cover that bottom side with the path that he had. So means he's moving back towards his top half, so curious to see what Yike's game plan is off this first clear.
Yeah, looks like a little bit of a misread here as well, as we did have a ping on the KC red buff, which is exactly not where Yike is right now, as HongSuo going down very, very low here in this mid lane.
Yeah, they did spot him on that ward at Raptors just as he was clearing, so I think they should know, but curious as to what the answer is. ShiauC.
Headshot does connect, but thankfully for ShiauC, he's not hit by the Peacemaker. And they should be able to get a really nice recall timing here for Feng as well as he pushes this wave in. Caliste just going to have to clear that one up. And all quiet here in this early game so far. Slight lead, about 100 gold or something like that for Relove DCG, but otherwise no worries there at all. I think they're going to want a little bit of a stronger advantage as this game continues, but not just yet, right? Like, I think mid-game, level 6s, that's where we are going to see this team pop off.
I think it's even just as, you know, Caliste pushes in this wave and then Feng kind of gets the farm by himself. and that's where you can start to open up a bit more and try and operate on the map with this Camille.
Well, Pop9 finding the Q here onto kyeahoo, just gets himself out of the way. A little bit of an annoying gank there. I think Pop9 actually, like, his spidey senses were tingling, understanding where Yike could have been. And they will ping that one out. Does come on over here to get towards his Raptor camp. Busio just making sure that the rift is exactly the way he wants it. Collecting some chimes, making his way back to lane.
Yeah, so very slow. Just coming through in the early stages. But again, not too... I think for KC, this is where your comfort level is, right? Again, was...
Oh, over the wall goes ShiauC, but that is a magical journey. So you can go back to your point.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
But yeah, I think like you can see that Casey's game plan is like get vision on this bottom side, spot out where Pop9 is, make sure there's nothing too crazy happening as kyeahoo gets connected onto.
Yeah, kyeahoo actually going down exceptionally low here. Holds onto the flash though, and isn't in kill range just yet underneath his turret as ShiauC is also flirting with death just a little bit there. Yike moving on over, looking to take down his Raptor camp, but Pop9 wanting to deny that one, as in the meantime on the bottom side of the map, another scrap has been brewing. And not really going to find too much to be happy about on either side, although good defensive play from KC.
Yeah, I mean, Yike managing to get his camp is pretty big, because you can see Pop9 hasn't actually cleared out the Krugs on the bottom side, so won't have that level 6 potential to be hit off of this next crab spawn. And if Yike can hit that and start to make plays on this very volatile bottom lane, I think that's going to be an open win for KC.
Yeah, having a little bit of a look at what the top lane is doing. Not something that we like to do in the early stages because it is a lot of ping-ponging minion waves. But right now, Canna is just having a very, very good time on his Rumble. And this is how we kind of see this matchup kind of working. Flauren does want all of those stats from hitting level 6. Did you know that Ambessa gets stats from her ultimate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too, because Orcs talks about it every single game. And so I'm well aware of it now as well. And it can certainly help out in that laning phase once that level 6 has been collected. Like right now, as Pop9 comes on over, clears out this control ward. And now KC just going to be collecting this wave.
It was very funny. We brought Nako on to try and talk about top lane matchups winner over casts.
Yeah.
And it was Ambessa versus Rumble, and he was like, this is the most boring matchup. Nothing's going to happen ever. And I was like, well, that's all I've taken away from this matchup now. Yeah.
Well, there you go. You can see yourself out.
Yeah.
Probably the way to do it. As Yike actually was able to secure his Grump. Does have a lot of spectators in his jungle, but hasn't really been too phased about it. ShiauC just trying to push him away from this bottom side. And honestly, even though the CS doesn't really tell much of the story, I do feel like Feng and ShiauC have been standing their ground quite nicely in this bottom lane so far. As Yike can try his hand at a bit of an engage, or an invade, I should say.
It doesn't have the smite, Pop9 does, so there it is. I think he was hoping if you could get the steal, he'd hit 6. But...
Oh, okay, Yike with that on-target ability now on cooldown. ShiauC moving over, though, as there's the flash hookshot. Yike getting taunted, taken down, first blood over to Pop9.
Great response from Relove, DCG. Immediately moving ShiauC. Pop9 knowing that he had the smite to win out on the fight, and they get the kill on towards Yike. Perfect.
And I feel like this is early as well. I was expecting, you know, the need for a Hextech ultimatum, right,
yeah,
to really lock down these kills. But it was beautifully done. A little bit of a misposition there for Yike.
But I think you called it perfectly, right? Once you got that invulnerable used by Yike, it's, well, how are you actually going to try and escape? Had the flash, but didn't expect ShiauC to be in position to follow up. And great play. Again, that early aggression is what we wanted to see from the LCP rep.
Yep, and a lot of chain CC available for this composition at this stage of the game, making it work for themselves quite nicely. 400 gold lead, though, you're not really going to be celebrating all that much. Kind of like that guy on the podium with the champagne in 5th place or whatever. It's not exactly enough to make yourself feel comfortable. So we'll see whether the pressure can stay up here for Relove DCG. ShiauC taking a decent chunk there from that Peacemaker. And now Caitlyn at her favorite place in the game possible, which is outside the front door of somebody else's turret, getting that siege working, although they do back away, showing a lot of respect for Pop9 possibly making his way in. Yeah,
it was also HongSuo just started to roam down towards that bottom side and had the Galio ult, so I think this is where it gets a little bit more difficult for Caliste to really play aggressive on this bottom lane. We'll definitely need the help of Yike to try and support him in that endeavor. And Dragon's still up and available as well, so I imagine Relove DCG are trying to look towards that after this push out, as ShiauC opens up on the mid wave.
Yep. I really like that. One thing I do want to talk about, and one thing I do really just like talking about in general, is item spikes. And
I was going to say dragons.
yeah, dragons as well, as an LCK representative, is something that we really do like to talk about. But I like item spikes, and I especially like item spikes when they tell a good story about when teams are strong. And looking at the bottom lane, you don't need to be an expert to understand that Ezreal B strong 2 item, Caitlyn no B strong 2 item. It's just as simple as that. I do feel like the mid game is going to be a real point of power here for Relove DCG if they can make that one work. As Busio moving on down Feng. Oh dear, this is the power point that I was talking about. The ulti comes through from Yike. He can drop the aggro quite comfortably, but that's a beautiful arcane shift, and utilizing Hong in order to stay alive. The defensive play out of this PCS squad working out beautifully.
A good read by HongSuo to get down towards that bottom lane. Still though, that's the ultimate used, and Feng had to go back towards base, so looks like Dragon going to be the answer here for KC.
All right, well, that's what they're going to take. Really did feel like it was this great play from Relove DCG, but then KC just get a free Drake afterwards. Gold completely tied up. And as we set up a little bit earlier, this is exactly where KC want to be.
Yeah. This is exactly how they were in the LEC. It was play slow, stack dragons, play for team fights, and oftentimes you'd actually see them in a deficit in the early stages, which was kind of surprising because we got towards the end of our regular season, we're like, yeah, KC are kind of just dominant, and then we looked at the goal difference of 14 and was like, they're down most of the time. And I was like, oh, I guess it's actually just even, and then they end up picking up in the team fight. So definitely KC in a position where they are all too familiar with.
Yeah, and they will certainly be able to make team fights work later on in the game as well. Even with all of this talk about wombo combo and potential and things like that, is Flauren actually playing this one out quite nicely. The star player here on the top side of the map for Relove DCG, but hasn't been able to make too much happen. Oh dear, the nerf just really doesn't feel that great, does it?
No.
And it's been a few patches now. Still catching our players, or not catching Canna, absolutely. And we'll get double harpooned and just feels terrible.
There you go. Yike moving up towards the top lane.
Oh dear,
Caliste.
okay. There's a Hextech ultimatum as Caliste wanting to get towards this turret, and that's going to be enough to dissuade them from going for any sort of dive. So now ulti on cooldown for the Camille. Doesn't feel fantastic, and that should be this wave pretty thinned out and cleared out. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I mean, nice job from Caliste. Basically just staying close enough to his tower so that then there was real no follow-up on the aggression. So even with ShiauC using that ignite and ult, you still managed to keep yourself safe. So Caliste not giving anything across.
Yep, not working out here. As Feng still trying to put together that Trinity Force. Doesn't quite have it just yet. And we'll have that tier stacked up pretty nicely as well. Obviously, Mirror Mana Trinity Force is what you want as the Ezreal. Not quite there to either of them just yet, but we do have an Eclipse done for the Lee Sin. And Cyclosword is actually put together from Yike as well, and that is very scary. Large amounts of damage available for this this little doggo.
And I think you can kind of see that there's a little bit of worry from Relove DCG with the amount of wards and the Lee Sin that are existing in this bottom lane, because there's no flash on Feng, and I think KC would really like to try and use that item spike to make a play on bot lane.
Well, let's see whether this crab is going to be the next thing that we're going to be fighting over. It looks like Yike says, nope, we're just going to take that one away from you. As Busio actually coming in, looking for the stun with Cosmic Binding, but another heroic entrance comes down. Hookshot for the stun there onto Yike. As he does go untargetable, flashes over the wall, gets himself out to safety. But can everyone do that? As Tempered Fate only going to connect onto one of them. Caliste not able to find the Peacemaker because of it, actually. And it's just kind of a mess. Everyone taking a bit of damage and then walking away.
I think that flash from Pop 9 just barely got him out of range of that trap just before it armed. So very lucky to escape that one. It could have been the jungler for Relove DCG going down. But instead, as you say, battered and bruised, but people walk away.
Yep, not going to be something to worry about too much on either side. And now they're just vacating the area. Flauren able to pretty comfortably take out this minion wave. Although then does take a whole bunch of damage. Will be able to go back and heal himself up, though, with a little cheeky Hex Drinker there to try and stay alive in the lane. Isn't really working against the Rumble, especially a Rumble with Ignite.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to light them more on fire. Although maybe like making up for the Flame Spitter nerf. Just sprinkle a bit of Ignite in there.
But it's like, you don't really need that much AP to kind of get back to, because like the actual AP scaling went up. It was the like base damage that went down.
Yeah,
so
true.
you kind of get there fairly quickly. So I wouldn't be surprised if Canna's basically back to where Rumble was at this stage.
Yeah, maybe just needs a burn in and then he's just done. Does cancel the back and is just going to stick around for another wave. Flauren makes his way back up there. Still holding on to the teleport, so maybe a potential team fight avenue, but KC just comfortably moving towards about a 600 gold advantage, slow and steady, absolutely winning the race here as Pop 9 will finally take down that Raptor camp and then look to set up a little bit of vision.
Yeah, you can see there's basically this like trading back and forth of the vision, right? Because you're getting a little bit of the playing towards this side. You got like some wards that are going down as well, and basically it's just Relove DCG trying to spot out where Yike is to make a play.
Well, they found Yike. I think they found Yike. Flauren has found him and is now just going to flash over the top of him. A little bit of leapfrog there, gets the shield, and the last dagger will get him. Little doggo goes down. Yike says that's all right, a worthy sacrifice, and that's a solo kill for the KC jungler.
Yike, well played with that one, managing to just about get the kill. Canna going to get that wave push in that top side as well. Really open up a gold lead now for the Rumble off the back of this. But Yike just in a great position to chase down Flauren. Not much that Flauren was able to do. Tries to use the ultimate to see if he can maybe buy a bit of space. But Yike able to chase him down in the end.
Yeah, and not exactly the most optimal flash. Wishes he had another dash. I mean, it's Ambessa. You should have infinity dashes, shouldn't you? Doesn't actually manage to dodge out of the way of the second darkened dagger. Down he will go. It's a lot of Ds. All right, Yike now just going to be clearing out some vision here in his own jungle. And we're looking at a dragon that has now spawned. Hextech Drake going to be our second one. See what that soul is going to be in a few moments when that one finally does go down. But maybe a team fight opportunity here for either team.
Yeah, I think you want, because Feng is just resetting, so I think it's by time as Relove DCG actually got interrupted there by Caliste, because he has no first item completed, whereas that's finished almost across the board here for KC. So I think that's kind of the moment now as KC start up the dragon, knowing they've got that item advantage.
Yeah, and Trinity Force is done. I think stopping that back was a huge deal. And it will just mean that this second dragon going over to KC. And it looks like there is going to be zero contest. Yeah, HongSuo just going to be moving towards his bottom side. And Caliste even with some spare time on this outer turret. Not exactly the greatest opportunity for a reset there for DCG. And that is another Cloud Soul. Oh my goodness, it is my birthday.
Still, I think for KC, they do have to be a little careful because, like, the combo is there as they try and step up for vision here.
Well, Busio does find ShiauC here. The two of them are fighting this one out. Raptors stolen away once again as HongSuo trying to deal with Caliste as best he can. It's looking a little rough as Justice Punch will be able to get HongSuo out of there. And ShiauC just trying to survive underneath an inner turret with the outer still up and available. And that is going to be the Rift Herald going over on the other side. So at least Relove DCG getting something done.
TP, though.
Okay, looking for an angle here. His hookshot is pretty good. Hextech Ultimatum coming on down here as Busio in a fair bit of trouble. True Shot Barrage connects. And Busio still alive, Winds of War will take him down. And Flauren not going to be able to find an angle here, but is at least able to defend on the other side. And Rift Herald just immediately goes down top lane for Pop9 to try and get some of that plate money. Yeah,
we'll be able to get the plate money. Won't be able to get the tower, though. Still, because I imagine, actually, no, kyeahoo could TP up, but doesn't want to, so maybe can get some decent damage here along with the Galio.
Yeah, gets all the plates except for one. And HongSuo is going to join up here. Looks like kyeahoo will be able to at least dissuade any more autos to come out of this Galio. Still decent play.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got the kill, you defended that bot lane turret, and ShiauC, oh, hang on.
There's an ulti out of Flauren, finding Canna here, slowed down for a very long time, and actually tanking up the turret just a little bit. Equalizer is decent, though. Now Flauren, he's the one in trouble. The overheat from Canna, but now Flauren able to get a few extra autos in. Who's made his way down, though, and that is going to spell the end of that play. KC looking for another one on the cross map as it's a double for kyeahoo in picture-in-picture. Oh, my goodness. Okay, KC spring to life. And now the gold lead is real.
kyeahoo popping off in the bottom side, getting both those kills. And now opening up on mid lane as well. They want to try and force Feng back. Yike has the ultimate if he wants to try and push him off, but I think they're going to be happy just getting the plates for Caliste.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. And another wolf camp to go over to Yike here as well as, man, he is he's making both jungles his own by the looks of things. As now Busio taking a little bit of damage here from Feng, but not really too worried about it. And Pop9 and ShiauC moving on in. That is a Q that's going to be taken here just to taxi Pop9 over. Great safeguard to get out of the Tempered Fate. As over the wall goes Yike. True Shot Barrage is going to connect. But I think that he's just out. And connects the Sonic Wave. How did that get past the doggo? Oh, he's got to feed his kids a little bit more, I think, as he will be taken down there. And now, Relove DCG with some options on the map.
Yeah, the guard dog was actually just a chihuahua in disguise.
Yeah, that's the problem. You really do need to make sure that they're a bigger one, like a Doberman. Let's get one of those.
But that was so impressive by Pop9, both on the safeguard out of the Tempered Fate and then threading the needle to get the kill. Setting up now for the push on topside for a tower. That's some massive snowballing gold in towards Relove DCG.
Yeah, a little bit of a swing back at this stage of the game is going to feel absolutely fantastic. As the dust settles, it's still about 1,000 gold. But Pop9 having a really good performance, as we can see here. And this is one of his favorite champs. We did say it in Champion Select earlier on. But as you can see, over a 70% win rate, feeling absolutely fantastic on this pickup so far. 2-0-0. They do need to keep up the pace, though. And that is one of the things that I'm a little bit worried about. I do think that there is an expiration date as we get later and later. Yeah,
but I think you can see why Pop9 has been so crucial to this team and making plays. And now ShiauC wants one more.
Oh, dear. Yep, you're not going to be able to take that magical journey. As down goes Busio. The beauty of Camille into Bard.
Yeah, Tides kind of feel like they're shifting here.
They're going for even more here as Yike does cancel the back. Yeah, who gets kicked back as well. The Q going to connect as Pop is going to dive on top of him, and True Shot Barrage wipes out the rest of those Chihuahuas.
Relove DCG have come alive off the back of just a couple of picks. They get the tempo lead, and now they're pushing in towards KC, getting kills. I'm getting some more plays for Feng. This is a massive gold swing.
And this is exactly what we were talking about. This is precisely when they should be fighting.
Yeah.
And this is not what I was expecting. I kind of thought that they'd just be mindlessly starting fights absolutely everywhere, but they're playing around when they're strong in the game based on their composition. Working out very nicely, but 30 seconds on the next Drake. That's going to be soul point for KC.
And I think with all that massive gold influx, they would like to reset and then try and get those TPs in. Flauren just has his up. Oh, Pop9!
Oh dear, does manage to at least not be tempted by the cupcake and will not walk into that trap. So Caliste not able to lock him down just there, but will be able to get back onto his wolf camp and heal himself up.
So Flauren now with the reset, going to be able to TP into this, but it does, with that near pick onto Pop9, give KC a lot of control around this dragon. You can see the vision already set up. And ShiauC doesn't have that ultimate available. HongSuo doesn't either. So although they've got some nice picks, I don't know if they're in a spot to fight this dragon.
Oh, they're going to go for it as there is the ulti out of Flauren. Dives on top of Busio as wow, that is a freeze frame. I've not seen that one before. And down goes Busio here. Canna is going to look to burn down ShiauC, but he pays for it with his life. The flash out from Flauren almost keeps him alive, and Yike is going to fall. The flash over from Feng just to make sure as the Ezreal grabs a double. Caliste is still alive though at full health. And HongSuo needs to be really careful. He goes back in. The winds of war as Feng wants to be able to finish them off. But he's the last man standing, and it looks like KC will be able to get themselves out with a one-team fight.
But KC aren't really in a position to start off this dragon, and ShiauC is coming back out from base. The ultimate will be up and available as KC want to take the fight. Caliste stepping up, but doesn't want to look for much more.
All right, a bit of a dangerous one there for Caliste with only 2 items completed against Feng with that Trinity Force very close to his mirror mana. I guess didn't have that 2-item spike, so felt strong. And I was a little bit worried there for a moment. As now we'll see the fight one more time.
Yeah, you can see the KC kind of step up to cover for Busio as he buys time with the Tempered Fate, but kyeahoo and Caliste couldn't really step up because of where the rest of Relove DCG were. So even though you have Yike and Canna getting good work done, you can look at the rest of that damage dealers and see they're actually completely separated, which is why this fight kind of starts to turn for Relove DCG as they're able to get their team into the area that they need to, pick off that front line, and then it was on Caliste and kyeahoo to try and make some magic happen at the end.
Well, we'll see whether this is going to be an opportunity for a Drake to go over to DCG. And actually, yeah, it is. Yeah. As we come out of the replay, will be the secure. So starting off for a Quadra Cloud Soul as there's Caliste getting locked down in the Hextech Ultimatum. True Shot Barrage connects onto Yike, and Caliste taken out with the Mystic Shot beautifully after he does come out of stasis. Busio, that was not a magical journey that you were looking for, sir, as the bottom lane's wiped out, and Relove DCG all of a sudden just immediately back on the front foot.
And that's what I was about to say. Relove DCG got to make that play because they didn't have those ultimates. At the Dragon, they had
it's Baron time.
So now they're just turned to Baron.
Right, 22-minute Baron. This is potentially difficult, but it's 2-item spike for the Ezreal. He does so much damage at this stage. ShiauC playing bouncer, wanting to keep them out of here as Yike will be spotted by the Galio, and it looks like they were just setting themselves up for a turn. Feng is basically out of the fight though already, and he will just have to get himself out of there.
Really nice job by Canna there to escape. Use the Hextech Protobelt and the Flash to bypass HongSuo's Galio taunt and just get away. So the KC, they have to burn the Flash, but they do stop that Baron.
Feng is 3-0-5. This guy is an absolute monster on the Ezreal right now and has picked up his first couple of items. The rest of these item spikes aren't exactly crazy, but if they can make more of these things happen, like exactly this, then they're feeling brilliant as this game goes on.
Yeah, I mean, Caliste takes so much damage, and you can see everyone from Relove DCG, the overload in mid lane, paying dividends there as they managed to pick off 2. Just nicely done. And I was like, that's what I was saying. They hadn't invested those ultimates in that initial team fight. So KC a bit complacent, thinking they could step up and end up getting burned for it.
Well, we're getting closer and closer to Infinity Edge for Caliste, and that is going to feel brilliant for the Caitlyn. Probably wanting item number 4 to feel fantastic, but I think you get to start having fun again once the IE does come in and you're out of that trough just a little. Still some opportunities here for Relove DCG to make some stuff happen, though.
Imperial Mandate completed for HongSuo as well. Very strong on the Galio, thanks to that reduction in basically the majority of his kit.
Yep.
Which is very, very nice.
He abuses it quite well.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what Relove DCG have been doing well, is pushing in these sides, abusing the fact that, you know, you can't really step up because they can collapse so quickly. And it means that then they are actually able to start making plays mid, or able to move around the map better, get vision down. And Pop9 actually start up this Baron once again, and there is no world that KC expect this.
Well, I think Flauren walked over a ward to get down here. Feng's going to move on over as well. 4 on the Baron, as the Galio can get there at a moment's notice. But KC with not a lot of vision of this area, down to 8k, and they are just bursting this. This Baron's just gone. Yeah. KC now have the information. Busio can get a magical journey down, as there's the Tempered Fate to buy a little bit of extra time. But Yike, I don't think he's going to get here in time. That is going to be the secure on the Baron. The 2-man on the ulti out of the Orianna is brilliant. The Shockwave, fantastic. Get the Hextech Ultimatum comes in. There is the drop from the Galio, but only a 2-man taunt. It is going to be Busio falling down, but this team fight is all KC all day long, and they wipe them from the rift. Cool Baron, guys.
Relove DCG wanted more, and they end up paying for it. Karmine Corp find the team fight that they needed. And at the start, I thought this was brilliant. I thought Relove would end up just backing away from this play afterwards, because you get the Baron. Sure, the Shockwave comes through, but you can try and just disappear, but they all in on towards Canna, thinking, okay, maybe we can make the play. But Karmine Corp are in a great spot. Feng isn't able to participate. And in this choke point, you're getting so much work done for KC.
Yeah, just all of the abilities not quite giving the value that Relove DCG wanted. And even though they got a Baron, didn't really do too much. And yeah, I think that Tempered Fate just buying exactly the right amount of time for KC to get in there, get that Shockwave into position, and make it work.
And this is kind of the swing that Karmine Corp needed, because as you were saying, like, the tempo advantage that Relove DCG had was letting them find these picks and find these plays. Now with KC kind of getting to clear out sideways and get into position, they should be in a decent spot. Dragon in 50 seconds, Feng needs to be careful.
Yeah, Tempered Fate is going to get sidestepped there quite nicely, but Yike just bounces over, and there's a kickback onto Yike, but it doesn't really do too much of anything at all. ShiauC is looking to try and keep him busy, but down goes the Lee Sin, and it looks like Relove DCG have just kind of fallen apart over the last few minutes. Flauren going to get pulled back by a Shockwave out of kyeahoo, and realizes that he's going to have to publicly execute himself, and that is precisely what happens.
Canna may want more, just waiting on Yike to show up here. And it looks like it could be the clean ace.
Yeah, I kind of thought that that was going to be the end of the bad news here for Relove DCG, but it just keeps on coming. There is the ace. And KC moved themselves to a 3.5k gold advantage here at 26.5 minutes.
Yeah, they're going to get mid-tower. They're going to get the Dragon. They're going to probably get a little bit more on this bottom side as well as that wave starts to come in. So KC swinging this gold lead massively back in their favor.
Well, that was a passage of play, was it not? I feel like the game kind of just fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
Ah, there it is. There's the cliff.
There's the cliff, yeah. Yeah, I think it was a little unfortunate with the kick from Pop9, because it kind of repositioned Yike into the best possible position after they killed Feng. So a little unfortunate there as ShiauC funds Busio.
Yep, well, that is just going to be the Drake going down. Busio just having a bit of a good time, collecting some chimes, finding a ShiauC, just feeling good about it. Pop9 just looking to try and see what he can find on the cross as best he can. But finding an Orianna at level 16 is not something that you really want. So he connects a Sonic Wave and then thinks better of his choices. All right, can we pick up the pieces, Relove DCG? That's my question. I have a voice in the back of my head that's saying no. quite loudly.
Yeah, it's these pieces right here that I'm worried about. That's the really hard part. And
yeah, getting in on the Coinbase gold grind. In the meantime, though, there is a little bit of a team fight as there is the Tempered Fate into the backline. Caliste is going to get locked down and taken out, but have they done enough? That's the question. Canna is going to say yes as he pulls out the Flame Spitter to get the answering kill. But that is 80 carry down, and that is a lot of power now missing. And I think we were just highlighting in the Coinbase gold grind just how far ahead Caliste was. Well, that's a little bit less now, I guess.
Yeah, it was who was in the Coinbase gold grind, but Caliste is going to be a large portion of the gold is now taken off, you know?
Yeah.
So feeling a little bit better. So
I wanted it to fit my narrative after that team fight that happened in the middle, but it didn't quite work out there. But kyeahoo is also just absolutely massive. And we don't see like the extraordinarily far ahead Oriannas, I guess, that much. I feel like Orianna is still just powerful enough. But this is like a... It's a ridiculous kind of lead.
But this is what I love about Relove DCG. Like, they just refuse to give up. It's every single time they're going to fight you tooth and nail, try and find something off the back of it, and they end up getting Caliste in the midst of all that. And now maybe buying themselves a little bit of opportunity to once again, like, push out these side lanes, try and start setting up to find more of these picks. And that was kind of what the brutal mid-game was for KC, was when Relove DCG had control of side lanes.
Yeah. Caliste has 4 items. It's the time of the Ezreal has concluded, and it is Caitlyn time now. The time for the Ezreal might also conclude again with a trip to the Death Chamber, but not actually going to happen just yet.
It looks like KC have just gone, we don't care about top lane, even though you were pushing it in HongSuo, so instead we're just going to try and play off of 2 lanes and stop you from being able to make any of these picks happen.
I think this kind of makes some sense from DCG, just because they need to keep people together in range of a heroic entrance, I think, to try and go for some sort of pick to get themselves back into this game, especially with Baron spawning in 40 seconds time. Any pick that they get now is going to be extraordinarily valuable to make things happen for that potential fight or take. Let's see whether they can find an avenue back in. 7.5k is a decent lead, you could say. The KC's accrued for themselves.
Yeah, and again, like, this is where KC love being. Like, you kind of get to these late game fights, they're very well, their execution and their setup is very good around these objective fights, and I think that's kind of what KC are doing once again here. You can see the amount of vision they've already set down in Relove DCG's jungle. The only thing is, just as Baron spawns, that ward that isn't the tri-brush, but they nearly catch ShiauC.
Yeah, a little bit of a scary moment there, but ShiauC is able to make it out without losing too much of his health bar as well. Flauren looking to catch this wave as they've finally dealt with the top side of the map, has KC. Just in time for this Baron to spawn and to walk over and just take it. I mean, look at this vision control. There is, there's some scrying orbs and things like that. They do get this ward over the wall for ShiauC, who goes in with a flash, gets on top of kyeahoo, and just promptly dies. True Shot Barrage does sail over the top, and the Equalizer not doing a massive amount, as there's the Guardian Angel pop there for pop 9. HongSuo just going to fall, and it's a double for Caliste. I think KC may have just dropped the wallets on them, and I think a bit of a wallet reset might be necessary here for our PCS squad, as it's a quadra for Caliste, and that may have just sent us to a game 2.
KC find the team fight that they need. Canna rips through one side, kyeahoo survives on the other, and KC look like they'll be picking up this first game.
I do like that Relove DCG died on their own terms. You know, ShiauC just going in. He's like, well, if we're going to make it happen, it's going to have to be off our own engages, as he does it again, just as his Nexus turrets are falling down. But KC, slow and steady, absolutely winning the race on this one. And they just found that one opportune moment and ended the game.
Yeah, it was a little bit too far, but I think you already kind of highlighted this game was starting to run away from them with the scaling that was on KC's side. So I respect the attempt, but unfortunately just wasn't quite enough.